So interesting. But what if the truth is in the 21st century that all authority is absolutely false? All of it. What if the only real authority that has ever existed is the truth? What if nobody has to tell you something is true? What if that's something you naturally, automatically know within every fiber of your being? We feel the truth. The hard part for some of us is when we hear a truer truth, it's hard to let go and take the blinders off. A lot of us like to act like I didn't see that. That would mean I'd have to change. I can't go there. I'm going to hang on to the truth I have. The hardest part is when you embrace truer truth, and then all of a sudden you come across what every one of our ancestors in their own vernacular of their tongue spoke in the ancient world as 24-karat gold nuggets of truest truth. Truest truth. That doesn't change. It's solid. It's foundational. You can stand on it. You can trust it. It's not going to change. And if you ever come across truest truth, so many people, because of the way we have been academically indoctrinated in our little factory schools, where we chant, learn pre-selected answers to stick in blanks on exams put into place by multinational corporations within that educational facility. We're such good little chant learners. We memorize the answers to put in blanks. We get a grade. And after 8 years at uni, we think we're somebody. The word education means a deepening of insight. Look it up in a pre-1940s dictionary before the book burnings took place in every modern country in the world during World War II for a very specific agenda and reason. It's published in the Library of Congress in the United States and most of the collections nationale. Things went on in order, I believe, to get the support and the control of the masses. And so we're trained into certain things. And because it comes from authority, we think we know what they're doing. So whenever I speak, like Johns Hopkins or Cornell Medical or UCLA Port, or out there at University of Florida, Gainesville in the oncological studies, whenever I'm in front of a medical symposium, and it used to be I would never be invited. I was the enemy in the camp. They all know I hate their guts. I make no bones about it. We're doing more harm than good. And I'm not saying there aren't sincere practitioners of the pharmaceutical medical industry. The problem is you can be sincerely wrong and not know it. You can be doing more harm than good because all of the published studies, even with their own community, shows people do not die of cancer. They die of the treatments of cancer. I've never met any human in my life that died of cancer, but I've met thousands that have died of the treatment. I also know thousands that laid down that path and took a different route, and they're still alive to this day because they embraced principles of self-care. Here's what happened. Before you were born, your mommy and daddy got together for a bit of fun. Next thing that was going on, and nobody could see it, you, in the identity of a particle, as they referred to it in the 600s BC, Democritus and others, when they were theorizing about atoms, they took the word from the Egyptian culture, the NTR, the neter, the identity of you, a particle that is the smallest and not dividable. That's what individual means, not dividable. Today's physicists are still looking for, is there a particle that you cannot divide? They had it figured out a long time ago, guys. The identity of you took materials from your mom and your dad and organized through the intelligence that it brought into this cave of creation and wonders today called the womb, and developed a cell within about 7 days. The next 7 days, it went into mitosis, split into 2 cells. Next 7 days, doubled into 4, then to 8. I'm a dumb American, okay? Then it goes to 16, then it goes to 32, and then it goes to 64 and 120. It just keeps going. After 40 7-day doublings, which is 9 months, 40 weeks, the house is ready to come forward into life and to take an inspiration of spirit, which is the Latin for air. So you come out of being a water breather into a spirit or air breather, and your house at that point in 40 doublings is made up of over 10,000 trillion cells. Each cell is intelligent. Each cell has a function and a purpose to perform, and that's all they will ever do. In spite of you blocking them, attacking them, shutting them down through your own ignorance or lack of willpower or belief in authority that wants to treat you to harm. Your body will never turn on you. It will never set against you. That is a medical lie. Whether it's a cone cell or a rod cell of the eyes, whether it's a skin cell, a bone cell, a heart cell, a blood cell, no matter what it is, it has one purpose, one: to keep you functioning and in a state of well-being from your first breath to your last. And do you know how long you're supposed to live according to your ancestors, who actually used to live that long in communities that were long-lived and disease-free? They took a look at every insect and animal, and they measured the time of full completion and construction of their bodies. However long that took, you could 5 to 7 times that and know the general lifespan of that thing. You've heard about cat years and dog years. That's all based in relationship to human years, based on how long it takes a cat's body or a dog's body to reach full construction. A human body takes 22 years. That's why anciently the number 22 is the year of mastery. It's completed. You 5 times that, that's 110. 7 times that, that's 154. Oh, but those in authority at the pharmaceutical medical industry has convinced everybody that because of them, we're living longer. Get in and look at the cultures and look at the studies. You're living longer than what? How many here have grandparents or great-grandparents that lived longer than their own parents? It's the truth. It's not going out there. It's coming down here more and more. It's an interesting little process we have to keep people in ignorance and to make trillions off their bodies, convincing them that we're trying to help them. And again, some sincerely are. But I make 2 statements every time I speak at a medical community. And every time I make these 2 statements, either 1, 2, or 3 people get up out of the auditorium, stomp up the thing, give me a little bit of sign language. They start throwing out expletives, and they stomp out and slam the door. And then the rest of the auditorium is so cool, they typically give me an applause. And so I'm going to make the 2 statements. I usually don't do it in public, but here they are. Some of you have heard me say this. I usually don't throw it in, but I'm going to say it. For some reason, I'm compelled. Number 1. 9 out of 10 doctor's office calls are made by people who do not have an organic disease. They have a simple functional disorder brought upon themselves through their own indiscretions or lack of willpower. These simple functional disorders will go away on their own within 3 to 7 days, 99% of the time. But you think you're broken. You've been taught. You need to run to an authority and be fixed. So you run to the doctor. 9 out of 10 do not have an organic disease. They have a simple functional disorder. You run to the doctor. The 1 out of 10 who actually has an organic disease has that disease condition because of the toxic damaging effects of the prescription drugs they were put on when they went to the doctor in the first place for the simple functional disorder. Yeah, let's give that one an applause right there. I hope you followed what I said.